and welcome to another episode of A Man's Perspective. Vann, please introduce our special guest.
What is up, people? What is up, people? It's your boy Vann. I'm a homeboy Blue, and we have the founder of Heal Charlotte, Greg Jackson.
What's up? What's up? What's up, man? I appreciate y'all having me.
Oh, it is great for you to be on the show. We are happy for you to be here. I seen when you were on, when the news broadcaster hit you with the mic. I'm like, okay. And she had, I'm sorry, for the newscast, you had that mic real close. You had it real close.
Real.
You wanted to hear everything he had to say. I just want to say that to you because I know it might come across your path.
Right.
But in any event, and you did stellar, completely stellar.
Oh, thank you, man.
And when I'm like, yo, who is this brother? As soon as you said Heal Charlotte, let me go look that up. And the research I've done and looked up everything, and you helping the kids and doing a fundraiser. And then the question I have is, when it came to Lamont and when he was killed, what dawned on you? What happened? What dawned on you that you needed to make something to switch up the narrative?
So completely honest, I got a lot of spotlight, highlight, attention for a 5-minute conversation that I was having, a dialogue that I was having in front of the police department with Major Mike Campagna. And my work previously from that, I was sous chef in a restaurant and I was doing music. So my work didn't warrant the spotlight that I had.
Mm-hmm.
And I dedicated myself to just building a resume of making sure my voice matched my actions, and just making sure I'm building integrity. And when I seen that platform that was there, I couldn't let that opportunity pass of trying to make an impact.
Well, the other question, when the idea came between you and your partner of Heal Charlotte, and after you said, okay, what's the direction that we want to go? What lane do we want to touch? And then that lane touch another lane, and then that lane turns into a crossroad, and that crossroad turns into a highway, et cetera, et cetera. So when did you say, okay, I'm gonna go and help the kids, because in my opinion, but not my opinion, your opinion, they're the ones that are coming up, and those are the ones we have to protect.
Yeah, I think so. When we first started, we got into doing some police training with CMPD, and that was the first thing that we did, partnering with Chief Putney and Major Mike Campagna, just looking for some innovative things that they needed to fix as far as training. And then after we did that, we thought we accomplished something. But in my neighborhood, I stay in North Charlotte, right behind Hidden Valley and Orchard Trace, and in my neighborhood, there was just kids running around with not really nothing to do.
Mm-hmm.
And it spoke to a bigger problem. And, I believe there's not one thing that there's not one way to make an impact and to make a change. There's a bunch of different systems and circuits and spectrums that we all need to gather and get into that affect the inequalities and the disenfranchises that happen to our neighborhoods. So I just said I wanted to help out the kids in my neighborhood and give them a mentor, or just be in their lives in some type of way that'll help them become, better people, better citizens, just better people in period in general. And partnered with my property manager, Miss Regina. I went to her and I said, listen, I want to be able to help with these kids. And my neighborhood's a little different, man. It has an indoor basketball gym inside the leasing office, and it has a swimming pool. And we're in the middle of the hood, and we have the tennis court, but nobody was utilizing it at all. It was just sitting there.
Mm-hmm.
And I said I wanted to do something, and if she let me come in for 3 hours, I would love to be able to at least attempt to do something.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, God works funny like that, man. I was at work, I was at work supposed to be coming up with recipes of the day, and I was coming up with programs for kids. So, you know, I think the restaurant seen it, and they were like, "Man, you ain't here no more. Go do your calling."
I was like, nah, man, you making you're not working right now. You're not
Yeah,
doing
you making programs on that receipt. I know what you're doing.
What other organizations or individuals do you interact with in order to make your dream come to fruition?
Man, I don't think there wasn't an organization I wasn't willing to work with. As when I came in, I just knew I didn't really know the system. I didn't know nonprofit world. I didn't know programming. And I humbly came in and just wanted to learn and be a sponge from other organizations that were actually doing stuff. So, and that was from grassroots to the high tier organizations that were out here. So, you know, I really leaned on people like Lucky, Sean Corbett from the Lucky Spots Barbershop that runs Cops and Barbers. That's Big Bro. Really soaked in. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Pardon me. All right, I'm back on. And so, see, it soaked up from Lucky, and then I really soaked in a lot of Sheriff McFadden, he was a retired detective at the time. He showed me about the attack force continuum, really that. And then my pastor, Pastor Theo Schaefer from Grace Church Charlotte, he had 18 years of youth development and just training, and he really led me through working with kids and knowing the importance of what we were teaching them at the time. And and then all of my friends that had special talents, time, treasure, everybody's invited. Nobody's exempt from being salt to the earth. You know, everybody come get it.
That's what's up. So when you planted the seed and the seed started to grow, and I want to go back a little bit when you started doing the training with the police. So what went with that training?
Yeah, so when I was protesting, man, I was yelling at Chief and everybody and telling them, like, you know, your training is terrible. It sucks. You know, y'all need new training. And then they hit me with something. Chief asked me, he said, yo, have you ever been through my training? And I was like, nah, I just know it's not working because of where we at right now, right? And he said, well, at least go through the training so you could pinpoint what's wrong. Because saying you need to fix your training is a very broad statement, right? And
that's broad.
So we got to be a little more in detail with the things that we want when it comes to training, policy, legislation. You know, if you don't know what you're talking about, at least go find out and do the education and research so you can be able to affect the system in a different change and really make a impact. So that's what we did, man. We went through the training and started to learn about what they were doing, and we seen a glitch where we seen something wrong. They had this de-escalation training where officers were playing community members. So it was really officer on officer. And when I seen that, man, I was like, yo, this isn't serious. You know, if I was working at a bank and my fellow colleagues were playing bank robbers, I don't know how serious that would last. You know, we would have a laugh at some point.
Yeah.
So I told him, I said, you need to let me bring my friends in here, you know, and let's give it to you raw and let's add some different innovative stuff to it. And we put them through de-escalation training. We ended up calling it the conversational team. And it worked out. The constructive conversational team is a team of 20 to 25 officers that are trained on humanizing, sympathizing, and empathizing themselves beyond the badge in a time of duress. So as you see in the protests in the daytime, it's some officers that are out there specifically just to be conversationalists. And those are some of the gentlemen and ladies that we trained in that program. And that's been dope.
That's crazy. Where'd he go?
Yeah.
There you go.
I'm here.
How many people work for this organization, and what are their specific roles?
So we have about 4 or 5 people on staff. But right now we have a big volunteer base. That's just a blessing. A lot of people just getting in and doing what they need to do. And so right now our mission is, we're a place-based organization that does neighborhood revitalization holistically. And that's with our youth development programs. That's with our family stability program that's called Heal a Home, where we started to realize, man, we got to give the parents some of the same knowledge that we're giving to the kids. So there's not a battle inside of the household. You know, we got kids being cultivated to do certain things that maybe their parents didn't get that. You know, we do rental assistance for those families that are connected to the youth. 2018, I lost my first family to eviction and really didn't know what to do with it. You know, wanted to really, I felt like we were creating this safety net, and then somebody can get evicted, and then now what happens, you know? So we started to raise money for that. In the last 2 years, we've been able to stop almost 20 evictions and 6 padlocks. Real proud of being able to keep people in the system. But we also partner with Commonwealth Charlotte Area Fund, and we added some career development and financial literacy classes that come with the rental assistance. So that's been moving for 2 years. And we also have 4 annual community events that we do for Easter, winter, Thanksgiving, and we have a culture day. Our biggest project, we're launching a $5.5 million capital campaign to be able to buy. And this is all God, man. This is not.
Yeah, this is good. Listen, that's one of the best blessings. Keep going, brother. You are doing great.
I just don't want to make it seem like I'm in a house thinking of this stuff, man. This is
No.
I went to school for cooking. So I've been blessed with heavy discernment, and God's been able to give me visions to be able to act out. 5.5.
Your
capital.
education.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. To me, your education actually contributes to that, because you're putting the ingredients together to make the masterpiece. Can you dig it?
Come on now. Come on.
There you go, bro.
Amen to that, man. It's a big melting pot. It's a $5.5 million capital campaign that we're starting in July to buy one of the hotels on 85 and Sugar Creek, and renovate it and use it for transitional living and true affordable housing for single parent households and human trafficking victims. And I really believe in economic development, and I believe in neighborhood infrastructure, and just really want to be in the forefront of owning our community, and really putting an investment into our community, where us as Black folk control what comes in and what comes out.
Absolutely. The Black dollar is probably the powerfulest dollar on this earth.
Yeah,
so I truly believe that. So when you say community, and the community is currently out protesting, and you're out protesting, and something almost escalates, right? Is in the midst of escalating.
Yeah.
The officers that you said that went through your training, and
yes.
You yourself, how do you all maneuver to de-escalate those particular situations? Because they have arose in some of the protesting that's been going on.
Yeah, so when they're out there, they are not there to entice. They're there to listen and see how they can be involved. And unfortunately for us, we didn't get to train the whole department. And that's a whole nother issue, where Charlotte moves in a season of funding, and there's no long-term commitment to funding. Things need 3 to 5 year plans to actually come to fruition and work out for the masses. And we weren't.
You muted too.
All right. That's my phone. Somebody is calling my phone just now. That's probably what happened. But my bad.
Stop calling him. Stop calling him. John Brown.
Man.
I know y'all see him on here. Stop playing around.
But that's a whole nother thing in Charlotte, where funding is super important, and a long-term commitment to making an impact is very, very important. So we only have a handful of officers that's out there doing it, but we really need a lot of the department to be trained in that skill particularly, so we can send out, 150 conversationalists to sit there and have conversations with protesters, and even stand with them and not conversate. Maybe they just need to stand there, kneel with them, and be unified with us. And I think that's something that we really need.
Go ahead, bro.
Let me ask a question, because that's a great point you just made, Mr. Jackson. I seen a video recently in which an elderly man was walking up to a group of patrolmen, and he had like a helmet in one hand, and he was showing something on his phone in the other hand, and two officers pushed him down to the ground, causing him to have a laceration in the back of his head. He was hospitalized and is currently in the ICU. I said to say this: the man that pushed him was like, oh my gosh, in his mind, I'm thinking this is because he went down to kneel to help him, but then he was told to move on, to keep it moving. Are you finding that there's any resistance regarding your movement and the overall umbrella of policeism, for lack of a better word, in Charlotte?
So as far as the overall department, that's something that we need to enforce, to where there's a lot of stuff that happens where it's voluntarily changing, and it's not a mandation. And I really believe a lot of these new policies and a lot of these new rules that are coming in with community diversity, urban diversity, it has to be a mandation that this training has to happen. You don't have a choice. It's, and I think that's where we dropped the ball a little bit. It was very voluntarily given out for officers to be involved. We need to be able to change that, where you don't have a choice. You have to go through this diversity training.
Absolutely. So when
Indeed. Thank you for that.
The training itself, it kind of sounds like some of the stuff that I went through when I was in the service, which is always crazy because it always comes up. Is that I believe that they need to be trained by us.
Yeah.
Because an officer going through, like you said, they were dealing with cops. When military gets deployed, like, it always comes up. It's always crazy that it always comes up. Like, when we get deployed, we don't train with other soldiers. We train with a bunch of civilians that I have never seen before in my life.
Wow.
I have never met in my life.
Wow.
And they put us through sims, and we go through almost, oh my goodness, things like 2.5 weeks.
Yeah.
And we go through 2.5 weeks of de-escalation training, and we get that in the States, and then we leave and go get it again when we're deployed. So it's like a refresher of, hey, yo, you need to be on point and de-escalate this, because we don't want to spend no money on your behind. So, so when it comes to like cops having to deal, I believe that the idea that you came up with is a dope idea, but implementing jokers like who are vets, who've been deployed, implementing jokers like crazy, like myself, my homeboy, he's a vet. I got a bunch of friends who are in Charlotte that we're all just veterans, and implementing us because we know exactly what situation that you're gonna have to deal with on all the time on a daily basis. So dealing with jokers like, because I'm gonna put my hands on you, because that's what people do, or I'm gonna try and be calm or crazy. I have an issue in my brain and I don't want to die, but I want you to help me. Like, you have to learn how to navigate stuff like that, and that idea is dope. Extremely dope.
Appreciate it, man. That's the environment that we wanted to create, and it was the easiest recruiting time that I've ever had in my life, because it was literally, yo, bro, we're gonna go curse them out for 3 hours, and we're gonna do this for 2 weeks straight, where we're gonna go in, listen, we went in there and we gave it to them raw. And it was some serious, intense, like, people felt like they were in a protest, and we had 4 different phases to it. It was, we did a one-on-one conversation where somebody had a one-on-one with an officer, and I'm talking about a traumatic experience that I had. Then we did a press conference and asking them real questions, real questions, man. Questions like, if your partner has a bad day and you just watched him argue with his wife, do you allow him to lead?
Absolutely. Absolutely not. That
What's-
trickles into
Nah, because somebody's gonna get an ass whooping that he wanted to give to her.
Somebody's gonna get it. But this is the crazy part. We say, what's the protocol? And it's amazing how so many people don't know the protocol. But then it's also amazing that the officers that had great answers were officers that have been to the military. And they know the answer. It's, well, you're gonna ride passenger today.
Yeah, you riding passengers, you don't say a word.
Don't say nothing. You
Don't say
going through today.
Don't say
You're
nothing.
human. You're human, bro. Let's not act like you're gonna go out there and all of a sudden be in a good mood while you're. Let's be real. And then the third one, we had yellow tape up, like we're in the neighborhood, and we're acting like Keith Lamont Scott is dead right there, and we're disgruntled neighbors. And the goal was for the officers to look at us not as disgruntled neighbors, but as passionate citizens of their community that want to have answers. And you should listen to me because there's something you can do with this passion that you might be able to pull something out of me that I can be a conduit in my community, because I'm standing here for a reason. I'm not standing here because I don't care. So that training, man, and you're right. I wish I'm actually going to be speaking to the CMPD about trying to further that training and do a lot more. And unfortunately, it takes times like this where an uprise happens and then everybody's woke again. You know, we just got to stay woke. Like, stay woke. Don't go to sleep.
Walking around eyes wide shut. I am.
Because sleep is the cousin of death. No, I'm just playing.
Eyes wide.
You better talk that.
Joker running into walls.
Yeah, man.
How can an average citizen, a normal Joe, get involved or invest? Or if they're not able to invest, what can they do to help further the movement?
So reach out, go to the website, healcharlotte.org, send an email to volunteer@healcharlotte.org. And we'll get you into one of our specific programs where you feel like you're, because it's very important to me that you're not just volunteering, but you're answering a calling or walking into a purpose in your life through service. And that's what we're hoping. We want people to be able to heal themselves by healing others, you know, and find out why you were really placed on this earth. Your job, your profession is not always why you was placed here. And hopefully you can find it by serving another person. And right now we're creating another system where it's not about programs, but it's all about legislation and policy and learning the bills and learning the voting rights. And that's, it's very bureaucratic. Because we don't want to get caught up in the fixing people. You know, we want to make sure that we're making systematic change too.
What do you think about, or maybe you've already thought about this, is this an option about branching out to other cities like Hill Fayetteville, Hill Durham, Hill Raleigh, Hill Greensboro?
Yeah, no, I'm absolutely open to expanding and broadening our reach. I don't believe this is just for one specific city, but I also believe that you got to be mindful in your expansion, and you want to make sure that you finish your assignment. And I feel like we have a lot of work to do in Charlotte, and I don't want to go to another city with a half template. You know, I want to be able to say we didn't just affect one neighborhood, but we were able to implement some stuff in Charlotte that we can take to another city and really make an impact.
All right, so like a good solid playbook, play-by-play template structure that it can be implemented in other cities in order to heal.
Yeah.
So with the creation of it and the kids, how's the atmosphere changed in your community? How is everything looking when it comes to the plan?
Yeah, man. It is an absolute blessing to be able to watch the transformation in my neighborhood. 4 years ago, 5 years ago, my maintenance man was walking around picking up bullets, empty shell cases. You know what I'm saying? I'm very proud to say we've had a 17% crime decrease in my neighborhood, in partnership with all of the organizations and CMPD, because the officers in my neighborhood, I know them on purpose. I know the sergeant, you know, I know Captain Matthews, I know Officer Ellis, I know Gallant. I know them on purpose, man. And I'm about relationships, and I'm about holding people accountable. And I can't hold you accountable if I don't know you. I don't need to just know your badge number. I need to know your first and last name. And I need to know who your superior is too. They actually, in my neighborhood, man, they came every Tuesday playing ball with the kids. We did circles of trust. They got to know them on a different level. I've had officers get kids out of trouble. You know, it's been different. You know, I'm about relationships, and it's really been producing results. So yeah, we've had a 17% crime decrease in my neighborhood, and it's been fluctuating the last year or two because homicides just went up in Charlotte, period, because of the traffic, and the population of Charlotte's been growing, but it's extremely lower than what it was 5 years ago. And we're very, very proud of that. Attendance is up in school. You know, this is my first year. We're having graduates of high school, and I'm proud to say every high schooler that was a senior this year that we dealt with has graduated from high school. 3 of them has full rides to colleges. And that's something that we're prouding ourselves on. Families are, you know, up on their rent instead of being behind on their rent. And then, you know, getting people into upward mobility is kind of like the major goal.
Hold on.
Well, all right. Mr. Jackson, any final words you would like to tell the people on how to heal themselves?
He's special.
Man, keep God first. Keep God first, and then serve somebody else. Serve somebody that you don't walk with, that you don't do your journey with. Make sure you're sowing a seed into your community. Don't just be about this action right now. Be about this action 365. The protest continues. The revolution still won't be televised. It will be in the neighborhood. So make sure that you're sticking to that, and do your research, people. Please do your research. Do your research. Learn your laws, learn your legislation, learn your council people, learn your officers, learn your county commissioners. Just learn government and learn the system that we're in, no matter what it is, financially, your financial institutions, your education institutions, everywhere that is controlling a spectrum or a system in this world. Learn it before you protest it. Learn it and then protest it, because you're protesting, you're matching that zeal with some knowledge. And that's something that they ain't used to seeing when it comes to our community. They used to seeing us passionate, but it's time that they see us with an action plan. So go learn that Black Panther 10-point agenda and start adding to it, because that's what we need to do. We need to go back to our history so we know where we going, people. Go to healcharlotte.org, sign up, and let's get working. Let's get the action.
Organized passion, organized action. Let's get it.
Yeah, unify, organize, mobilize, and be militant.
Absolutely. That is so dope. See, I'm sorry. I know we're supposed to close out, but I got something else. Hold on, 1 second. 1 second. I'm not done yet. You mentioned, like, I heard you say legislation, and the funny thing is, with the legislation that's actually being written currently right now in Charlotte, have you looked it over yourself? Have you seen it visibly at all?
I haven't. We just had a conversation about us looking at it tomorrow and making sure that we're exactly on point. I have some people, and this is another thing that we don't do. We don't partner with people that are excellent in the things that they do. So I told my people, I said, I'm a community organizer. I do a lot of like development inside of building something, but I also got brothers and sisters that are policymakers, and I lean on them to do policy, and I'm not going to try to do their job. I'm going to make sure they do it, but I like to educate myself too. But I'm looking at that legislation because we were talking about it today.
Like, as soon as you said legislation, I knew that the legislation in Charlotte was currently going is currently underway right now.
Right now. Right
So
now.
I know what's going on. I'm like, okay, so does he know about the legislation that's coming? Let me ask him, because I almost forgot. I really did almost forget until you said legislation, because I know that stuff is going on right now, currently in Charlotte, being written. And I only seen
They're meeting right now about it. I was just on the phone with our mayor pro temp and some of the council, and they're working on, you know, the tear gassing, and they're trying to figure out new ways and innovative ways. And they really it's a new spectrum that they don't know. And the guidance really needs to come from the community, because we actually know what we want. But we got to team up with the people that know what they're talking about so we can get these agendas.
absolutely. So, man, I got to talk to you when we get over here. Yes, I did.
Man, come on, brother.
Get over here, buddy. Oh man, this is gonna be fun. Hey,
Tell the people one more time on how to reach the movement and how to connect with you via social media. Seems like that's the way most people connect to such movements and endeavors and programs.
Yeah. Hill Charlotte on Facebook, My Hill Charlotte on Instagram, www.hillcharlotte.org. Visit us, send us a message. We're gonna get right back to you. You can find me, Greg Jackson 704 on Instagram, Greg Jackson on Facebook, and let's get to work. Let's get to work. Ideation time. Let's get in them rooms and make this black agenda.
All right. Well, thank you, Mr. Jackson, and that concludes another episode of A Man's Perspective.
Man, thanks for having me,
The
fellas.
Urban
God bless
Breakdown
y'all.
Podcast. Thank you for having us, and thank you for doing what you do as you empower me, educate me, and inspire me to want to do better.
God be the glory.
Y'all, we are out of here. Y'all have a great day.